How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Shifting Lanes. My name is Hanson. Thank you so much for tuning in. And in today's video, I'm sitting in the 2018 Toyota Camry XSE V6. More manufacturers are making fewer and fewer cars these days and making more crossovers. So it's easy to get distracted by all the crossover offerings. But if you stop and look around, there's a lot of great sedans out there, and this is the Toyota Camry that's in its 8th generation. So these are highly refined cars. There's a lot of features in here, and if you're too distracted by crossovers, you're gonna miss on a really great car. So I'm here to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of this 2018 Toyota Camry XSE V6. Alright, so let's start talking about the good of the Toyota Camry. There's a lot of good to talk about this car. First, let's start off with the engine up front. This is a V6, a 3.5 liter V6. It produces 301 horsepower and 267 pound-feet of torque. That is a lot of power for a sedan. My all-wheel drive sports car back in 2006 had 287 horsepower. This is more powerful than that. Granted, this is a bit heavier and there's a lot more features inside, but still, that is a lot of power for a four-door sedan, and more power is always a good thing. If you don't go for the 3.5 liter V6, there is also a 2.5 liter inline 4-cylinder, and that produces 203 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. The other cool thing about this car is that this has the Toyota's D4S injection system. Now that is a dual port and direct injection. Now more and more companies are putting direct injection into their engines because it gives you more efficiency and more power. All great things, right? But the problem is with direct injection, the valves don't get clean because the fuel is injected into the cylinder. So traditionally with port injection, fuel is injected on top of the valves. So what that does, it actually has a cleaning effect on the valves. It reduces carbon buildup. But the downside is there's worse efficiency and also not making as much power. So the benefit of a dual port and direct injection is that you get the efficiency and the power of direct injection, but also the reliability and cleanliness of port injection. The Toyota's D4S system is also found in the Project BRZ. If you've been following this channel, then you know that I've been running a 2013 Subaru BRZ for autocross. So if you're interested in watching my adventures with that car, please check out the playlist, link up above. The other good thing about this car is it comes with the Toyota Safety Sense. That is Toyota's collection of safety features like the lane keep assist, the radar guided cruise control, and also pre-collision braking system. The nice thing about that is they've included the TSS system into every Camry. Now, while these driving nannies are kind of bothersome when you're just driving and paying attention to the road, but for those times when you're not paying as much attention to it, it's nice to have these little warnings to kind of keep you guided down the road. I find that the lane keep assist works really, really well, and especially when you couple it with the heads-up display, that looks really nice. Personally, I don't mind having the lane keep assist feature turned on at all times, just because I see that information being displayed on the heads-up display. In other cars which don't have heads-up display, when the lane keep assist warning turns on, it's more disruptive, whereas in here I also visually see it. The markers on the heads-up display give you a warning that if you're about to hit the lane, if you're a good distance away, it notifies when the car is applying force feedback to recenter the steering wheel and recenter the car, and then it'll also warn you when you've crossed that boundary. So it doesn't catch you off guard like other lane keep assist with the fact that you could see what's going on before they give you the warning. Probably the best feature of this car comes in the $2,500 driver assistance package, and that is the 360-degree reverse camera. The system is a lot like Nissan's Around View, where there's a system of 4 cameras. There's one in the front bumper, one under each side view mirror, and one by the trunk lid. So the software will stitch images from 4 cameras to combine it into one 360-degree overhead view of the car. And having a feature like that makes parking extremely easy, and you just pay attention to the screen, even though you should look at your surroundings just because for legality purposes, but just looking at the screen makes parking so much easier. And the cool thing is that you could also just press the camera button and get access to all the different cameras. So when you're parallel parking, you could just toggle through the cameras and look at how close you are to the car in front of you when you're parallel parking. When you sign up for that driver assistance package, you also get Entune 3.0. That's Toyota's infotainment system. I'll talk more a little bit about that later. You also get this two-tone roof, which I'm just okay with. It makes the car look a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more unique. Another nice feature of the Toyota Camry is this Qi wireless charging standard. Your newer iPhones and a bunch of other Android phones can charge through this system. There's this tray that can collapse out of the way to reveal another storage compartment. And when you open the armrest, you'll also find two 2.1 amp USB plugs. Now that is powerful enough to charge iPads and large electronics. All right, now let's start talking about the bad of the Toyota Camry. The first one with the XSE V6, just because you have that 3.5 liter, 301 horsepower engine, there's a lot of power, but it's only going to the front wheels. So naturally, when you accelerate, you're going to get some hint of torque steer. That's just going to happen in front wheel drive cars. There's very few cars that have been able to tune torque steer out just by changing the geometry of their steering linkages and suspension linkages. But with this one, when you really mash on the throttle, there's a slight tug in the steering wheel. That is really just a front wheel drive characteristic, and that hasn't really changed in this Toyota Camry, so that's something that you should be aware of. Another bad thing, and this is really just personal opinion, and if you feel differently about this, please let me know in the comments below, but I dislike the look of the center console. I feel like it's too flat, it looks unfinished. Along with the unfinished center console is also the lack of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. In its place is the Entune 3.0 system. Now, Entune is Toyota's suite of apps. There's a bunch of apps like Pandora, iHeartRadio. There's other helpful apps like Yelp as well. The other thing I don't like about the Toyota Camry is the lack of available manual transmission. Don't get me wrong, the 8-speed transmission is great. It shifts very nicely, puts the power down pretty efficiently, but the fact that there's no manual transmission available means that all of the automotive enthusiasts will have to go to the Honda Accord and get their 2-liter 6-speed manual option. And the last bad thing I have to say about the Toyota Camry is the heads-up display and the center console does not look very good when you have polarized sunglasses. So when I put these on, the heads-up display is almost cut out, and during the daytime it's really hard to see, and that's really just physics because the heads-up display is projected onto the glass and polarized glasses just kind of cut out glare. That's essentially glare, what you're seeing. So you could still see it, but it's severely cut out. But when it comes to the center console, that's just material selection. When you look at the center console, you could still see it, but there's a rainbow effect, there's a ripple effect. It doesn't obstruct the images that you see on the center console, but it just doesn't make it look pretty. All right, now that I've talked about the good, I've talked about the bad, let's talk about the ugly of the Toyota Camry. And the ugly is really just aesthetic things, so this is a personal opinion, and feel free to tell me that I'm wrong, but I'm not a big fan of the fake vents. I just don't like it when companies try to put fake things on their car. I feel like that's an aftermarket thing to do that you could buy for like $10 and stick on your car. It's not something that manufacturers should put on their car on purpose. So when you look in the back, beneath the taillights, there are these features, and the intention is to make the car look more aggressive, but when you look up close and you try to stick your finger in there, it's a fake plastic vent. Totally has no purpose being there. Hate it. Hate it. Absolutely hate it. The other thing too is the quad exhaust out the back. Just don't lie. Make it just what it is, a dual exhaust out the back. Don't need to put extra tips on there. It really doesn't make the car look that much more aggressive. I think it makes it look a little cheap, actually. So again, that's just personal preference. Feel free to tell me that I'm wrong. And the last ugly thing I have to say about this car is that if you bought the driving assistance package, then you're gonna get the 360-degree view camera. But for the front, they've decided to put this little camera bump right underneath the Toyota badge. I think it makes it look like a little zit in front of the Toyota Camry nose. It looks a little funny, especially in this white paint. So let me wrap up the video right there. What do you think about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the 2018 Toyota Camry XSE V6? What do you think about this red leather interior? I'm kind of a fan. It's growing on me, but what do you think? In the long run, do you think you'll get tired of it? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful or somewhat informative, please consider giving it a thumbs up and also hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you can get notified anytime we make a new video. There's a lot going on in the Shifting Lanes channel. We do reviews on cars like this, and we also attend a lot of exciting driving events, and we personally each have project cars in our stable. So let me end the video right now. Thank you so much again for watching and sticking around till the end, and I'll see you next time.